So, besides some of the most obvious, if not some surprising announcement on Disney Plus Day about a week ago, one thing that didn't get addressed, and I think a lot of subscribers and fans were hoping it would get addressed, is some of the other shows, that are not on Disney Plus as of right now, and haven't been on Disney Plus since its inception. And those shows being Aladdin, House of Mouse, a few of the one Saturday morning shows, you name it. And, one would hope that with this being the 2 year anniversary, at least Disney Plus Day being an event to celebrate the 2 year anniversary, that, we would get some kind of announcement on that, but we didn't. So the question always arises, when Disney Plus comes out and they say they got some big announcements to make or they got some surprise announcements to make, whether it's for an event like Disney Plus Day to celebrate the anniversary of the streaming service itself, or it's just part of something like D23 or San Diego Comic Con or whatever. The one obvious question a lot of people have is, when are we going to get announcements of these shows? When are the shows that we want to see on there going to show up? And why haven't they? Now, some could say that with something like, let's say, Aladdin, the 94 series, that it might be legal issues, it might be ethic issues, who knows? We're not really sure. It could be a lot of things. But maybe in 2022 it might come out. We're not really sure. I mean, 2022 does mark the 30th anniversary of the movie it is based on. It continues from. So maybe it'll show up then. We're not really sure. House of Mouse, to a lot of people, is a no-brainer, as well as Mouseworks are no-brainers, because, with us celebrating Mickey and Minnie's recent birthday, if you will, on the 18th, you would think that they'd be, wanting to come out and then make some kind of major announcement of House of Mouse, Mouseworks, and all that are going to be on Disney Plus. I think House of Villains is on there, and all that. The only other House of Mouse movie that's not on there is Snowed In, at the House of Mouse, which is a Christmas film. But still, you would think they would make some kind of announcements, to, tie into Mickey and Minnie's birthday celebration, but they didn't, because they made such a big deal out of it. Like I say, you think they'd make some kind of announcement, but they didn't. You got other shows as well that have not been, put on there. Like I said, some people have pointed out Fillmore from one Saturday morning and several others. And again, you would think, with this unlimited library that Disney has, that they would do it. That they would be able to say, hey, let's just put these shows on the air, on our service, because there shouldn't be no holding it back, right? Unless, as I mentioned, there are licensing issues, rights issues. And who knows when those will get untied so that Disney Plus can release some of these shows. Now, some people might say, well, we do have some of the shows on Disney Plus where we are, and that's true. Internationally, some, platforms of Disney Plus internationally have the shows, and that's great, but we don't. Here in North America, we don't. And that's something that makes us wonder, what's going on? What's the holdup, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to release these shows. I mean, the Wuzzles, Disney made that to tie into a plush and everything, and Disney owns the rights to the show. What's the issue? What's the holdup there? Is it, the company that created the plushes originally still own the rights to the characters? What's going on? It's basically all kinds of questions, of, why and, why and what's the holdup, that goes on with these shows and everything that shouldn't be, questions that are hard to answer. These are questions that should be easy to answer. These are questions that, shouldn't have to be answered because, Disney should automatically be able to answer them because they have the rights to the shows. And, it's a huge surprise that, Disney hasn't taken advantage of this. I mean, The Weekenders is a show. It's one of those one Saturday morning shows that I actually liked. It had something about it that I actually liked. And, its complete DVD set, when it came out, was a huge seller. And it showed that, I'm not alone in that. But, for some reason, they're not on Disney Plus. What's the holdup? What's going on there? You see, it's just so weird that, Disney, doesn't want to put doesn't want to put established shows that fans know of, on the service, and yet they're willing and able to set aside potential, room for Tenyatta, which I believe will be good, a Princess and the Frog series. For a continuation of the original X-Men '90s series, which I'm looking forward to. You know, stuff like that. If they're willing to put aside room for stuff like that, then again, what's the holdup? If you're willing to make room there, or if you're willing to add more room for those shows, what's the holdup? There shouldn't be a holdup. There shouldn't be a holdup whatsoever. What there should be, is an announcement, down the line that these shows are coming. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. I mean, internationally, yeah, they're probably on Disney Plus in countries like the UK and Russia and Spain and, Japan and all that. And that's good. But what about us here in North America? I'm just saying. It doesn't seem right that one of the foundational piece of all Disney stuff has to basically hold, I thought I heard something there, has to hold up or hold out and hold up for a lot longer, or who knows for how long. Because again, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like, it's, it doesn't feel like, it should be an issue. That basically these shows, along with the other shows that showed up later on, should have all been on there since day one. Now, I don't know if Disney's just waiting and holding up on the fact that, we want to do that. We want to put them out, but, let's see what happens next year with our, increase in subscribers and, up in, profits and all that. Are they waiting for stuff like that? I don't know. But they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to wait. The thing is, to me, these are shows that as I just mentioned, should have been on there since day one, along with the other shows that came later. And, Disney, there shouldn't be, like I said, there shouldn't be a reason to hold off on these. There shouldn't be any licensing issues. There shouldn't be any distributing issues. There shouldn't be no copyright issues. They should be able to put these out here and now. But they're not doing it. And the question is why? What's the holdup? Why wouldn't these, titles announced along with the new upcoming ones that you have for this exclusive for the service? What's going on? It just doesn't add up in the long run, folks. I mean, again, you'd think with Mickey and Minnie's birthday that they made a big deal out of, over the past month or so that, culminated a couple of days ago. You'd think that they would make the announcement of House of Mouse. Snowed in at the House of Mouse. House of Villains, I think it's already on there, but if not, that movie, Mickey's Mouse Works. You'd think they would make the announcement that those shows would be on there. But they're not. But they didn't, I should say, and they're not on there yet. And the question is, what's the holdup? What's the big deal? As to not being able to put these out there. I mean, it's like, let me see, it's like HBO Max. Everybody knows inevitably they're going to get a lot of stuff off of Boomerang, right? If not already. So it's like HBO Max. If, eventually they're going to get, let's say, the Tiny Toon Adventures library away from Hulu down the line to coincide with Tiny Toon University, you're going to wonder, okay, when and where? And once Tiny Toon University comes out, but yet there's no adventures and it's still on Hulu, you'll be asking yourself, what's the holdup? I mean, we're glad it's on Hulu, but what's the holdup of not allowing it here? What's going on? You see, you would wonder, what's the excuse? What's the holdup? It's because it shouldn't be, right? You know, it's the same with any classic Looney Tunes. And I know some of the shorts of the early days are very controversial. But again, any established, well-known Bugs Bunny cartoon or Daffy Duck cartoon or Porky Pig or whatever, you would wonder, what is the holdup on some of these that shouldn't be held up. There shouldn't be a reason. And because Warner Brothers HBO Max owns the rights, it's very similar in that category. It's like there shouldn't be no real issue for these shows to have a release on on the service. And that basically the same goes for Disney Plus. It's like if Marvel Studios was its own entity, all right? It's its own thing, separate from Disney and all that. And imagine alternate universe, it's its own thing, and it has all the rights to all the Marvel properties, movies, cartoons, you name it. And and basically in this alternate universe, they announce a streaming service called Marvel Studios Plus, basically home of everything Marvel Studios or everything Marvel related, if you will. So you would think there shouldn't be a holdup, right, on any movies, any shows or anything. And yet, when it launches, you notice in the first year, where's the X-Men cartoon of the 90s? Where's the Spider-Man cartoon of the 90s? Where's the X-Men films of the early 2000s? What's going on? You would think if, you would think in this alternate universe, they have all the rights and everything to these movies, that there shouldn't be a holdup. But yet, as the year goes on and into the next year, the second anniversary, and there's still no, showcase of these properties, you keep wondering what's going on. Why are you holding up? There shouldn't be an issue. And there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be an issue in this alternate universe where Marvel Studios has their own streaming service and stuff like that. And basically here in reality, here in the here and now, the present, the same is said for Disney Plus. There shouldn't be an issue. There shouldn't be a reason why any of these shows are held up. So if I'm Disney, I get on the ball. I go to my Disney Plus people or or if I'm Disney Plus, if I'm the staff there, I get on the ball and I get a lot of these shows up and on the service as soon as possible, because there shouldn't be no excuse or reasoning, of any kind for these not to be there. But what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live stream during the premiere. Like the video. Check out BW Rosa's discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations. Check me out at BW Roses on VENMO. Also check me out at BW Roses on Patreon.com for the $1, $3 tier if you want to help donate there for content you can't get anywhere else except there. As well as check me out at Venmo if you want to help donate in that location. And that was just my dog waking up. She's got a bit of allergy, so she's okay. But let me know what your thoughts are and on this whole situation, because again, there shouldn't be excuses, there shouldn't be reasonings, they should be on there by now. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll talk to you later.